oil companies operating in Nigeria. Anti-corruption war claims another casualty as court sentences former governor to jail. Hello there, good to have you join us on the news on NTA International. I am Shegun Lawale. The federal government has promised to quickly put in place a mechanism that will bring about rapid development in the Niger Delta region. The acting president, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, stated this in continuation of his visit to the oil-producing areas in the country. Ilyasu Ali Yakub reports.
Edo State has 11 oil-producing communities that have for many decades been contributing to the economic growth of the country. Community leaders and other stakeholders say the region has, despite its contribution to the economic growth of the nation, suffered neglect in terms of provision of infrastructures. They identified corruption as a reason for their woes. The acting president, who regretted the years of neglect, identified corruption as responsible for the lack of infrastructure in the region. He said government will prioritize provision of infrastructure in the region with a view to uplift the living standard of the people. Professor Oshibajo disclosed that a review mechanism will be set up to constantly review projects in the region with strict monitoring. The acting president said all abandoned projects in the region will be revisited and ensure their completion.
It's a story of neglect, it's a story in many cases of corruption that has deprived our people, and especially people in the oil-producing communities, of their means of livelihood for so many years. That is one of the issues that we intend to address.
Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki thanked the acting president for the visit and said his administration has provided youth empowerment programs to divert the attention of the youth to meaningful venture.
Edo State welcomes the bold and progressive initiative which you, our acting president, have taken. And we want to assure you, as you have heard from the various stakeholders, that we are prepared to support and work with the federal government.
Both Minister of State for Petroleum, Emmanuel Ibekachiku, and that of Niger Delta, Osani Uguru Osani, promised their commitment to the development of the region. In Abuja, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, they need 4 international oil companies operating in Nigeria to maintain the rule of engagement to ensure that industrial wastes are not released to the environment has been emphasized. It was when the House Committee on Environment and Habitat inspected the Chevron Nigeria Limited gas plant at Grassroots, Delta State. National Assembly correspondent Kenneth Nani reports.
Having received brief from the management of Chevron Nigeria Limited on its general operations at the gas plant, the committee members demanded more explanations on how the company deals with waste management, oil spill response, host community relationship, its social corporate responsibility, including employment and capacity building of the people of the area, as well as general security of the facilities. The members inspected various departments of the gas plant. Explanations by Chevron Nigeria Limited revealed that an incinerator plant has been put in place with a complex technology process to reduce toxic waste to its barest minimum before proper disposal. The members also received explanations on efforts by the company to quickly respond to oil spill when such is brought to their notice. Chevron pointed to pipeline vandalism and other nefarious activities of militants in the Niger Delta as major challenges. While the inspection team settles to streamline issues under discussion, the attention of the lawmakers were drawn to the drastic reduction of gas flaring from 350% in 2008 to 26% in 2016.
We continue to sensitize communities on the impacts and implications of these illegal activities on their communities and even on their own environment.
We are agreeing to what every other person is saying to United Nations framework on Convention on Climate Change to reduce carbon emission, also for us to reduce gas flaring.
The proposed first National Legislative Summit on Environment is expected to address all ecological issues for a healthy habitat and for national development. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
The federal government says the Kaduna International Airport is in top 4 to commence full operation ahead of Wednesday, 8th of March closure of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Al34 reports that this was the submission of the federal government at a World News Conference held in Abuja.
In attendance at the news conference were Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, Minister of State for Aviation, Hadis Rika, representative of the Minister of Works, Power and Housing, and the Inspector General of Police.
In the case of Abuja Airport, for 34 years, neither surface cleaning has been done, nor resurfacing, and it is deteriorated. So what we are doing is actually reconstruction, and there's no other alternative than to close the runway.
We emphasize extremely intelligence of Nigerians that the whole exercise in the interest of safety, which is the key word in aviation. I was part of the visit to the Kaduna Airport. The tarmac is ready. You saw that we took a drive on the tarmac with the acting president. The tarmac was not a problem.
Responding to questions, the ministers and the Inspector General of Police allayed the fears being entertained.
Kaduna is an international airport, a seasonal international airport. Flights out to international or to countries outside of Nigeria are being conducted in Kaduna, even in its present state. With all passengers coming from Lagos can meet the train between 8 and 9. If you leave by the 7 o'clock flight, you can meet the train that will bring you into Abuja.
While Air Ethiopia has indicated its willingness to fly to Kaduna, other airlines such as Lufthansa and Turkish Air are expected to also indicate their willingness to use Kaduna Airport. On movement to and from Abuja, the Minister of State Aviation, Hadis Rika, explained that shuttle buses have been made available to convey passengers, while for those who may wish to use the Kaduna-Abuja train, they are also free. He added that for those who may wish to engage the services of helicopter, it is also available. The Inspector General of Police, on his part, explained that a heavy security network has been designed to provide maximum security during the operation. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Now, ahead of a diversion of flights from Abuja Airport to the Kaduna Airport, Minister of State Health, Dr. Osage Eyanire, has assured of safety and prompt response to medical emergency at the airport and environs. He gave the assurance after inspecting health facilities at the airport in Kaduna. Austin Ayebe reports.
Few days of the date of diversion of flights from Abuja Airport to Kaduna International Airport, heads of various ministries and agencies of government that have stake in ensuring smooth flight operations are working round the clock to put things in proper perspective. The visit by the Minister of State Health, Dr. Osage Eyanire, is to ascertain the state of health facilities at the airport and other hospitals that will serve as referral centers in the event of any emergency case.
Rooms have been made available for safe health services, and also a medical clinic belonging to FAN is on the site and it's being arranged.
Accompanied by heads of medical institutions in the state, they inspected surgical and medical equipment and facilities at 461 NAF Hospital close to the airport, where the head of the institution assured of prompt response to any emergency during flight operations from Kaduna Airport.
Now, with the added responsibility of serving as a referral center for the airport services, why not? We are ready to go on with any emergency.
Medical emergencies and surgical emergencies are here. The staff is good, the staffing is balanced, and the equipment we require on site. There is a blood bank here.
He was also at the 44 Army Reference Hospital and the National Eye Center designated in the multi-sectorial initiative towards providing adequate health care during the period of operation. At the end of inspection, the minister was at the government house where he pointed out certain things required in some of the primary health care facilities along Kaduna Abuja Road. The Chief of Staff and the Commissioner of Health, Dr. Paul Dogo, who received the minister, assured him of total cooperation towards smooth flight operation from the Kaduna Airport. In Kaduna, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
The federal government has called on former President Goodluck Jonathan to desist from engaging in back-passing over the issue of the Chibok school girls who were abducted under his watch, calling such action as unnecessary distraction from ongoing efforts to secure the release of the girls who remain in captivity long after they were abducted. The advice was contained in a statement issued by the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed. The statement followed the former president's reaction to the report by a British newspaper that the British Armed Forces offer to attempt to rescue the girls were rebuffed by the then President Jonathan. The statement pointed out that while former President Jonathan reserves the right to defend his administration, he should not engage in back-passing by saying some people who have obviously been playing politics with the issue of the Chibok girls will stop at nothing to further their interest, stressing that if anyone ever played politics with the issue of the Chibok girls, it was the administration under whose watch the girls were abducted. Minister of Interior, Lieutenant General Abdulrahman Dambazo, has reassured Nigerians who fled to Cameroon in the wake of Boko Haram attacks on communities in Northeast that government is committed to ensuring their safe return home in areas liberated from Boko Haram element by security forces. This assurance was given at the signing of a tripartite agreement for the voluntary repatriation of Nigerian refugees living in Cameroon. This agreement signed in Yaoundé, the Cameroonian capital, between the governments of Nigeria, Cameroon, and the United Nations Human Rights Commission for Refugees seeks assistance for the safe return of Nigerians who want to come back home. Officers and men of the Nigerian police force have been charged to ensure that their immediate community feel the impact of modern democratic policing. The Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, gave the charge at the opening of a 2-week train-the-trainer seminar organized in collaboration with the British High Commission's Conflict and Security Office. Idino Justice reports.
Borno State is one of 3 states in the northeast mostly affected by Boko Haram's attack, which left the region devastated. Since the military overran Sambisa Forest and internally displaced people are beginning to return to their homes, police too are beginning to take over civil security as the military is winding down activities in the area. The Inspector General of Police said this workshop therefore was to build capacity in handling post-conflict issues in line with best international practice.
So I believe that this training is very, very important to the Nigerian police force because it's going to empower our officers, providing the capacity to work in post-conflict environment. Democratic policing is based on the principle of responsibility, accountability, a police that responds to the yearnings of the community they serve.
The challenge of being able to make people feel secure is indeed one of the most difficult. And I commend you here for your bravery and your commitment to doing this.
We're looking at providing immediate relief to the vulnerable groups. So we're looking at those that have been displaced within the host community and also within the camps.
After training of the trainers, officers are expected to deliver to a wider theme in Borno State Police Command, including all divisional police officers and crime officers. In Abuja, Edina Justice, NTA News.
More than 100 women in Niger North Senatorial District have received training on freshwater fishery and other petty businesses in Kotangora, headquarters of Kotangora local government area of Niger State. The program, which is aimed at poverty eradication and wealth creation at the grassroots, was facilitated by the senator representing Niger North Senatorial District, Aliu Sabi Abdullahi, in collaboration with the Federal College of Freshwater Fisheries Technology, New Busa. Mukhtar Abubakar Wowo report.
The 100 women selected across the senatorial district were trained on how to become business entrepreneurs. The resource person, Sanusi Abubakar, of the Federal College of Freshwater Fisheries Technology, New Busa, in his lecture told the participant on how to use opportunities around them to establish their own businesses in order to be self-reliant.
I encourage them on
the issue of record keeping, because most of the things that make some businesses collapse is lack of adequate record keeping.
Senator Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, representing Niger North Senatorial District, in his message to the occasion delivered by his wife, Dr. Saadatu Aliyu Sabi, said the initiative is part of his poverty alleviation programs to empower women at the grassroots.
I plead for people to be patient. They should be prayerful.
We want to break the chain. We want the poverty cycle to be off our trend.
High points of the event was the presentation of certificates and 30,000 naira start-up capital to each of the 100 participants. In Kontagora, Mokhtar Abubakar, NTA News.
This is the news on NTA International, reaching you from Abuja, the nation's capital. There'll be more news after the break. Stay with us. Thanks for joining us again. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has restated the federal government's commitment to developing the creative industry to be a major contributor to national economic growth and social development. The minister was speaking when he received an audience veteran Nigerian music maestro King Sunny Ade in Abuja. Anthony Forsen reports.
The minister, who went down memory lane, recalled the musical exploits of the ace musician, saying he was second to none.
A man has practiced his craft for 50 years and still grows stronger because the energy, the passion, the dexterity with which he performs. To me, I think King is first an entertainer before being a musician.
King Sunny Ade's achievements, the minister said, made him stand out both at home and abroad, earning Nigeria a pride of place in the entertainment world. In the same vein, the minister said the federal government is also working towards providing the necessary infrastructure that will enable entertainment thrive at minimum cost. Earlier, King Sunny Ade had told the minister that his visit was a thank-you mission to express appreciation to the minister for his commitment in moving the nation's entertainment industry to greater heights. King Sunny Ade, who turned 70, presented a customized T-shirt to the minister as a souvenir and pledged to be a change ambassador to the Change Begins With Me campaign. In Abuja, Anthony Forsen, NTA News.
Yola High Court has sentenced former Governor James Ngelari of Adamawa State to 5 years in prison without option of fine for awarding contract without following due process. The Yola High Court, presided over by Justice Nathan Musa, found Ngelari guilty of 4 charges and discharged him on 1 which bordered on conspiracy in the 75-minute-long ruling. Central Bank of Nigeria orders 24 to 48 hours processing of forex for bank customers. Let's join Moplan Dako for details of this and more on Business News.
Hello there and welcome to Business News. We begin with regulations. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has directed commercial banks to process and meet foreign exchange demands of their retail customers within 24 to 48 hours of receiving their applications. It is expected that the directive will not only increase liquidity but reduce pressure on the Naira while further strengthening the Naira. In another development, the federal government has launched an asset tracking and management project known as the ATM project to enable the government locate, assess and evaluate all its movable and fixed assets. The Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, who unfolded this at the weekend, also disclosed that a central asset register would be created in the Ministry of Finance for recording the quantity, values, condition, and location of all the capital assets belonging to the federal government. To round off the segment, here's a look at equities on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, which closed on a negative note Monday. That's it on Business News. I am Moplang Dakok.
And time now to join Oku Ekpeyo for some stories making the rounds across the globe.
Militants in central Mali have attacked an army post near the border with Burkina Faso, killing 11 soldiers and wounding 5. The Malian army has sent reinforcements to the area to track down the attackers and assess the damage. The Defense Ministry says the attack took place on Sunday morning in a village where a Malian army contingent is based. A former British Army officer has been shot dead in Kenya. Kenyan police confirmed that the former British Army officer was killed by pastoral herders on Sunday while inspecting some of his lodges. Reports say it follows a pattern of traditional herdsmen invading ranches in the area to seize pasture amid an ongoing drought. And in the United States of America, lawyers have filed a petition seeking the release of an Afghan family who were detained in the U.S. despite having valid entry visas. A couple and their 3 young children were taken into custody shortly after their arrival at Los Angeles International Airport last week. They had special immigrant visas granted for work done for the U.S. military that put their lives at risk. Afghanistan was not among the countries listed on a now blocked U.S. travel ban. Oku Ekpeyo, NTA News.
Now sports. Western Naval Command wins 11th Nigerian Navy Games as University of Lagos and Bayero University Kano are set for basketball in next month's Nigerian University Games in Makurdi, Benue State. Dainde Sani reports.
The 11th Nigerian Navy Games in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State came to a close with Western Naval Command emerging champions with 69 gold, 69 silver, and 46 bronze medals. Eastern Naval Command placed second with 38 gold, 22 silver, and 34 bronze medals, while Naval Headquarters Abuja finished third. The closing ceremony featured football final and invitational relays.
The immediate appraisal of the games reveals a very positive outcome and a confirmation that the objectives of the games were well met.
President of Nigeria Volleyball Federation Habu Gumez says the postponement of first phase Africa Zone 3 World Beach Volleyball Championship qualifiers in Cotonou, Benin Republic from March 3rd to 6th to March 10th to 13th will not hamper Nigeria's chances of scaling through. Gumez, who visited the athletes at the Ajabir Lake Abuja training camp ahead of their Thursday departure, believes that Team Nigeria is fully prepared to take on their opponents, which include Ghana, Togo, and host Benin Republic. The University of Lagos are winners of the Nigerian University Games Association 3x3 basketball competition decided at the Old Parade Ground in Abuja and attended by 19 universities. University of Lagos defeated University of Ibadan by 14 points to 11, and in the female category, Bayero University Kano beat University of Ilorin by 10 to 6 points.
The competition is throwing more challenge to leaders, administrators, stakeholders, and the various state government.
The two-day competition was aimed at discovering players that will compete at this year's Nigeria University Games to be hosted by University of Agriculture, Makurdi, from April 20th to 30th. With sport update, Dainde Sonny, NTA News.
We now take a check on Tuesday's weather outlook for some Nigeria and world cities. We told you that acting President Yemi Osinbajo has promised rapid growth and development of oil-producing communities.
NTA International News.
You heard that the House of Representatives has canvassed maintenance of rule of engagement on industrial wastes by international companies operating in Nigeria. We also informed you that the anti-corruption war has claimed another casualty as a Yoruba High Court sentenced former governor of Adamawa State, James Ngelari, to jail for awarding contracts without following due process. And that's the news. Thanks for watching. I'm Shego Lawole.
NTA International News.